Yeah, I think we want to be an aggressive team. We want to be on the puck. We want to be, as a group, we want to make sure we're taking time and space away. And I think he did a pretty good job. I thought he had a good game tonight. So yes.
Overall, the young guys making positive impact, involved in the offense. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, no doubt. We need to. The more they score, I think the more confidence they'll have as we move through camp. Obviously it's not just about that, but certainly that breeds confidence, and it's a big part of it. We've got to find a way to make sure we score goals. So I think that's a real positive.
How huge was it to get all the special teams looks?
Well, I think it's good. I think you want to get tested in those real life situations as much as you can. I thought the first couple of games we didn't get enough specialty teams, so I thought tonight was great for that, to be able to see how the power play is, see how the penalty kill is. The penalty kill gets scored on late after a pretty good kill, and then they got to turn around and kill another one because there was a delayed penalty. I think that's great. Now you're under a little bit more pressure. Now, how do you react? So I thought it was we did some specialty teams with the group that didn't play tonight, but you can't replicate that live action.
Good pluses in Zadina's game tonight.
Yeah, I thought he was much better tonight than the other night. It was definitely a step in the right direction. Obviously, the one-time shot, I think it was 3 in a row there on the power play, and he's very willing to shoot it. I thought, now it's a different lineup too. It's not quite the lineup that we faced in terms of regular NHL players. But I thought it was a real good step in the right direction. I think it shows good confidence by him.
What do you think special half can fit? What's his idea? Like third line grinder?
Well, I think part of his responsibility is to make sure that there's 12 spots open to him on the forward group. So he's got to make sure he's got great depth in his game. So if it is a fourth line spot that's open, then you got to beat less guys out. I mean, to be top 9, you got to beat more guys out, and there's less room for error. So I think he needs to make sure that he's responsible, that he's heavy on the puck, and that he adds offense without giving up a whole bunch of chances. And I think he did a good job of that tonight. I thought he played well.
Zadina, last time you talked about kind of understanding space and time, you think, is that one of the places the improvements came tonight?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think he got surprised, I thought, a couple times in the first. I was just talking to our management group there, and they talked about another young guy saying, "Boy, I can't believe how fast it was." And I think you forget how what a jump this is for guys that come from just playing. They're playing major junior to now playing in these types of games. It's a heck of a jump, and so both for Veleno and Zadina, I think it's a process, and I think Zadina manages his knowledge of how much time he has a little bit better tonight.
How key was it you got to use him on the PK just to see that aspect of his game?
Well, critical. He's obviously trying to fight for a power play spot too, but our PK needs to be better, and so whoever we get, we don't use Croner tons on the PK anymore, so you got to make sure other guys are real good killers. We don't use Greener much, so if you're in our lineup, if Greener's in the lineup and Croner, not to say those guys can't, because certainly they can, and Croner's done it lots in his time, but we don't use him as much as we used to. So you got to show, it's what I'm talking about with Svetch, where there's 12 spots open. If you have depth in your game, well, if you can be a penalty killer, power play guy, both, it gives you way more opportunity to win those jobs.
Sulak, the way he can skate from end to end.
Yeah, it's pretty. He's got unreal jump. I mean, he can take 2 strides and be out of his zone. There's still a learning process there with the library based on a couple of things. Certainly, one of them being the size of the sheets. He's never played a bunch of games on this size of sheet, so things happen way faster. But he is one of those guys whose athletic ability makes up for maybe mistakes at times, because he might not do the right thing, but then all of a sudden he's still winning the battle somehow because he's just so athletic. He's a very intriguing prospect right now. Let's keep watching and see how he continues to do.
Sorry, Harvey, guys. and try and establish himself this year in Grand Rapids? What do you see from him?
Well, so far in camp, including the prospects tournament, I would say he has established. You know, I know he's going to still have to go do a good job, but man, he's played good. He's done a really good job. I think it's a real good step for him. You know, he put a lot of work in this summer, and he's a good skater. He can really relieve pressure that way. He seems to make a lot of the right decisions. He hasn't had as much time with the power play, although he had some today, but I think he's done a real good job. So every game I think he's been in, his impact has been real positive going back to the prospects tournament.
What made you decide to have Cornwall out with the Sedina-Veleno power play unit instead of, for example, Cholowski?
Well, I think one is it gives you a little bit of veteran presence on that unit too, and you know, Cronwell's a really good power play guy still, as you saw in that sequence where we ended up scoring. I mean, his poise in the backhand sauce pass to Veleno opened up one of them, and then he knows when to zip it over. He was excellent breaking the puck in the zone. And the passes he made on that breakout are really difficult passes to make. So one of the things that I liked was now Cholowski could watch him and could see the poise that he has coming up the ice with the puck and how he looks people off like a quarterback would, and then makes the right decision. And I think it's a great model for Cholowski to see. But ultimately, the reason I put him there, you know, is a conversation with Dan Bylsma, and we just felt it was good to have that veteran presence up top with him. With Veleno on one flank and Zadina on another, that's a lot of young. So we thought that was a real important thing.
Hey, Jeff, in your mind, I mean, all these fights for jobs, I mean, do you have a little clearer of idea at this point, or is it still pretty wide open halfway through here?
Well, I'd say we got 3 road games here that you know, you hopefully get pretty good lineups in. I think Sidney Crosby played today, so he probably won't play tomorrow. But I'm hoping we get Mulliken tomorrow, and I hope we get, you know, some version of Taves and Kane again in Chicago. And I don't know when. I don't think Bergeron's going to be back, but hopefully we get a good lineup in Boston too. And you know, I would say you come into the year with an idea, or you know, with an idea of who's ahead, and then you keep watching. And as we've watched, you know, we sit down after every day and kind of say, okay, where do we have these guys? But you also stay patient. You keep watching. The more looks you can have at people to make decisions, the way better decision you're going to make. So we'll watch as long as we can, which is ultimately through the last preseason game.
A guy like Higgins, who you've had for a little bit of time in the NHL, what are you looking to see from him in this year?
Well, I'd say the biggest thing for Hicks is making sure he eliminates any of the big mistakes, and he's had a propensity at times to do that. You know, we did that with a step up the other night and the goal against, and then tonight he lost a little bit of body position by our blue line. I didn't get help from his partner, but he still lost a little body position on plays that really don't. There's no reward to that risk. So just learning how to be who he is without as many of those big mistakes, the big ones that end up in your net. So, I mean, what a warrior he is. He's a great warrior. He's what I'd call a baller. He's just a guy who shows up and finds ways to be successful, and he's great to have on the bench, and I love so much about him. He's got to make sure his pluses outweigh his minuses, and not just the little pluses outweigh. They can't have big minuses to conquer. So we got to eliminate those, but I think he can.
I know he's obviously not on the NHL radar, but as far as Giovanni, what have you thought of him in this exhibition? What does he need to work on in there?
I tell you, when he's been good, he's made the D-turn, he's forechecked, he's been in the O-zone. When he hasn't been as good, he's turned the puck over coming up through the neutral zone and tried to make more out of something that's not there. Just be simple, be a north-south player, make the D-turn whenever it gets sealed off, and then go on the forecheck and be that big, heavy body. I mean, he's a mammoth guy. He's a big, strong man. He's got pretty good hands. He's got pretty good sense. So just do that. You know, make sure that you're not getting too cute.